What's up, guys? Welcome to vlog 15. I'm so hyped. Can you believe it? We're 15 vlogs in, 5 vlogs away from 20. I'm losing my mind. But today, I want to kind of talk to you guys about what it's like selling real estate during a pandemic here in New York City, which was once the epicenter back in spring. Because I know we haven't really talked about that. I've kind of just talked to you about like what I'm doing, and I'm selling real estate and deals and blah, blah, blah. But like, there's like a whole new level to this thing now because of COVID, and we're still in a pandemic. So selling real estate, we kind of have to pivot, and that's what I'm talking about today on this vlog. Let's go. All right, so what has changed since the pandemic as far as selling real estate in New York City? And it's probably similar in other states like California as well, where they have a thriving real estate market. So here in New York City, the paperwork. Now that we have to sell real estate in a pandemic, whereas there's always been paperwork, now there's more paperwork before we can even get a buyer into the apartment. And I'm a person who does not like paperwork. I dislike the administrative side of the business. Like, I'm like running around showing apartments all day, but now we gotta step back before we can start running. So before, when you meet a client, you will send them what's called an agency disclosure form, which just kind of states what you do as a real estate agent. And it's not a contract or anything like that. So you just send that to a buyer and disclose that information. Now, in addition to all that, we have 2 new forms that we now have to send buyers prior to showing. So buyers still call, buyers still inquire about apartments, but now they have to sign these 2 forms right here. You have the COVID-19 liability form and the COVID health questionnaire form. The liability form is just saying that you know that you're going out and taking a risk to go look at an apartment and you could possibly catch COVID or something like that. And the health questionnaire, this form, you have to sign every 24 hours if you're looking at apartments. So if I have a buyer and we're looking at apartments 4 days this week, every day I have to send that form to them to sign and send to the seller's agent to coordinate appointments. It asks questions such as, have you been feeling, you have a fever, chills, bone aches, respiratory symptoms, have you traveled to hot spots, etc. So if you answer no to all those questions, you're good. If you answer yes to one of those, then we can't go to the appointment. So these are things that we have to now do as real estate agents. And I myself have to sign that health questionnaire every single day pretty much, especially if I'm showing different clients different apartments every day. I have to sign that form as well and send that form across to the seller's agent if I'm bringing the buyer to the appointment. So that's something new that's now part of every real estate transaction. You have to do it. It's part of compliance, because if someone gets sick, someone can get blamed if you didn't have the signed form sent prior to the showing. So paperwork has upgraded to a lot more paperwork now. And again, you have to do this for every single buyer that you have, that you're doing business with. So that's the annoying part, but it's, this is what you have to do now to get to the appointments. And sometimes clients might take forever to sign them, but I recommend, if you're a real estate agent in New York City, don't go to the appointment until the client has sent the form. I assume appointment is not happening if I don't receive those forms within the time that we're supposed to show the apartment. So 2 new forms, COVID liability, COVID health questionnaire. I have to sign it, buyers have to sign it before we can go on any appointment. So now we have new gear. That's what I call it, now that we're going out to sell real estate. Now, instead of just running out with my phone, my wallet, and my keys, I have my hand sanitizer, I have my mask, and now I have gloves. Not usually though, I don't usually walk around with gloves because my hands are always in my pocket. I usually just put on hand sanitizer before I go into the apartment and ask the agent if we can open things or whatnot. But I usually recommend my buyers, if they wish to bring gloves as well, because some buildings are more strict than others. So you got your mask, your hand sanitizer, and your gloves. When we go on showings now, buyers and agents have to both wear it at appointments. Third, we try to keep as much space in between at the apartment as possible. So, and also appointments are now limited only to the buyer's agent and primary buyers. So before, people used to roll up at showings with their mom, their dad, and their sister, the whole family, or their friends and their cousins to all see this apartment. None of that anymore, which I really appreciate. So now it's just the primary buyers and me, as the buyer's agent, if I'm taking them to another agent's listing, are allowed inside the listing, and we try to maintain that physical distance while in the apartment to maintain and be safe. And then 4, getting tested as often as possible. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't like to get the COVID test because it's very uncomfortable, but I try to get tested at least once a month just to make sure that I'm being safe, because I'm seeing tons of people every week. I'm interacting with people at showings or final walkthroughs or anything like that. So it's important for me as a real estate agent to get tested as often as possible in this new COVID selling era. But despite all of that, clients still want to see apartments in person. Deals are still happening even during the pandemic. So selling real estate during the pandemic hasn't really slowed my business down much. It's just I have to do a lot of extra steps now in order to sell during this pandemic. And video has really come in handy. I've done a few virtual showings where I call the client on FaceTime or WhatsApp, and we've walked through an apartment because they're either out of state or they just don't feel comfortable coming into the apartments. Forgot my mask. The most important thing, kind of what this vlog is about, right? Anyways, this happens at least once a week. Peace. So there you have it. Everything that we need to do as real estate agents to sell during a pandemic. We have the paperwork, COVID health questionnaire and liability forms. We have our new gear, our mask, our gloves, hand sanitizer, only primary buyers and agents at showings, and maintaining physical distance inside the unit as much as possible. And just being safe, getting tested as often as possible when you can. And that's how we successfully sell real estate during the pandemic. And now I actually have to go sell a couple apartments today to a couple buyers. So vlog 15, cut the tape.